Good morning. I'm Brucey Rivers. You're watching Los Banos Today. Los Banos Today is brought to you by Santos Ford, the Central Valley's king of trucks. Call them today at 209-826-4921. Let me say that again, 209-826-4921. You can find them located at 617 West Pacheco Boulevard. Don't forget that name, Santos Ford, the Valley's king of trucks. Hello, everybody. It's Bruce Rivers with the morning show in Los Banos Today. You can check us out on losbanostoday.com if you want to follow along. If you follow us along on Facebook, go to the Facebook link, go live. If somebody wants to call in and talk to you, maybe you have a question for my guest, you can do that. But we don't do no gotcha stuff, okay? So I'm telling you, don't be doing the gotcha. We're here to give you information on all the individuals that are vying for different things in our community. We're trying to be proactive. This is a new platform, and we're still testing it out and doing things. But let me say I'm very honored and proud today to another one of my friends here in the community. Her name is Patricia Ramos Anderson, and she's running for the Supervisor position for District 5. And I'm pleased to know her and her husband. They are two of the most wonderful people I've met in my 16 years here in this valley. And I just want to do like we do, want to reach across and say, bless you and thank you for coming by to see us, Patricia.
Thank you so very much.
All
It's great
right.
to see you again.
Hey, yeah. Me and Patricia had a lot in common the first part of this year.
Yes.
We had that horrible cold thing, and so we had to put her interview off until she could talk like I could talk,
That's right.
But she's here today,
Most definitely.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say. Patricia, tell us a little bit about you. I know she got a great poster here, and you guys can probably go to. Is this on your website? You got this stuff on the
I'll
site?
be putting it on the website.
On the website?
Just got it, yes.
I just learned some stuff about her roots are in the Salinas Valley, the Central Valley, and the Santa Clara Valley from 1929 to the present. Some great pictures of her grandparents and whatnot, farmland and all that. But tell us about yourself, Patricia.
I am a product of my environment. A country in the heart. My family, grandparents settled here when the Depression happened. My grandparents, and they went back to ranching after things got much better. The economic of the area, the communities, and so then my parents immigrated then from Mexico, as well as they were already here. They were already working, and so my family, we started in the Valley of Heart's Delight. That's where they moved to.
Wow.
Although they had land here in Central Valley, in this area. And so they went there because they were looking at more opportunities as they looked at. They also looked at the future of where the children would have accessibility to opportunities in education.
Okay.
And that's why they ended up in, it's called now Silicon Valley, San Jose.
Oh, okay.
But our connections were always in the country, in Gilroy, Watsonville, and here in this area. We were always at the forebay. We were fishing. And by chance, at the same time, my husband's family, they were here as well, but they were at the top of Big Louie. They had a boat. Okay, we didn't have a boat. But,
Big Louie, I like
Big
that.
Louie,
Yeah.
Little Louie. And
Yeah.
so we eventually met on the other side of the hill, literally. And his family's still in Gilroy with acreage and the family home. And so they raised 5 children. All of us learned about a work ethic, respecting our land, protecting it, as well as also thanking those that work it, that bring us our food to our table. So that was a very strong work ethic, and also for us to understand that people do jobs that others that are challenging. So from there, we continued to keep our connections here, but we all got educated. One of the things that we did was we got scholarships, because our father said education is very important. You need to be knowledgeable, and you need to know how to work and help each other, and look as your community, your environment as one, and support those. Just because we got to go to college, we helped others as well, and others should also help others, and also give them opportunities. And that was my background, was family, community, faith, very strong Catholic upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
as well as giving back and helping others. That was ingrained until this day. We all practice that because it's very important that we take care of our brothers and sisters under our faith as well as within our communities. And so that's, a little bit who I am, but then also, I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate about our neighbors, what's happening, listening to our neighbors, the issues of, employment, the issues of transportation, the issues of housing. Those are things that were being discussed while I was growing up as well as presently. Things don't change, about jobs and also the affordability of housing and also activities for the kids and also having connection with our representatives. Things just go through generations and different phases. And so I got involved when I went to school, public administration, and then I got a scholarship. I got to study abroad in Public Policy International, a comparative study. I did.
Where was that at?
It was a Reader's Digest program, and I was able to get sponsors that paid my way for me to go, and also studied in Paris, London, Rome, Madrid. Who would have thought a young lady from immigrants, family of 5, we lived in a 2-bedroom duplex. We had love, a roof over our head, our clothing on our back, and food in our tummies. That's all that was important to us.
Right.
And we were always, our recreation was the parks, the beaches, and the ranches and the country area.
Wow.
And fishing. So I got to study abroad, came back, and started working as a public servant in government. And who would have thought that it would last me 32 years?
Wow.
32 years. And that's, and we decided to retire where we were raised. We were thinking about our childhood memories. And they said, honey, let's go back. We're going to go back to, where our roots were at, where we enjoyed a small community, small town feel. And we started looking at Los Banos in this area. And the funny thing is, we made the comment, says, you know what, honey? Los Banos is a little bit too big. And we started to chuckle. We started to laugh. We were like, think about it, can you believe it? I said, we liked Santa Nella because it was small.
Right.
It would stay small. It would be part of developing our town because it's a brand new little town. But that was hilarious when we said that. I said, Los Banos has gotten awfully big now. And so
Los Banos was a place everybody used to go through to go to.
Yeah.
The mouth of the valley. We're trying to do help people understand what we do and how we do it here. That's what this show is all about. We thank you for all that wonderful information. Your husband's first name is
Berry.
Berry.
Yeah, Berry.
And Big Berry. One of the happiest. He's got that joy in him. He's kind of like me, kind of Greek. Just always smiling. Always, just you see him. He's got a loving handshake, and just a kind word to say, as you do too. And he's not running for office, but he is he stands with you. I miss him today. He must have had to put some work in somewhere. Probably. I know you got him working. That honey-do stuff is good. A happy wife, happy life. You heard that here if you've never heard it before. Let me. I'm looking at one of her flyers here, and there's a plethora of information. I'm going to give you a little bit. 2017 Latina elected official recognition. First elected Hispanic woman in Santa Nella County on the Water District. Merced County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce 2016 Woman of the Year. LULAC Chair for Los Banos and Pacheco High School Scholarship Committee. President of the League of Latin American Citizens Council. Does that chapter 3072?
3072, yes.
Okay, and there's just so much more. Co-chair West Side, Merced County Homeless Task Force, and on and on and on. Part of her slogan says, voice of the working people, okay? And of course, the voting date is, when is the voting date? This is June 5th. And then, of course, you got all of this wonderful stuff on the back, investing in economic growth and jobs. Patricia Ramos Anderson for District 5 Supervisor. Patricia, what's your vision for our community?
My vision is that of the people of this district, the taxpayers of this district. For years, I had been listening to some of their challenges, their concerns, and dreams that they have for their community, their families, and their children. And that's my vision. My vision is theirs to bring it to life. And one of the things that I have done in my 32 years of public service is that 20 years of those 32, my experience in working with communities, developing neighborhood plans, that was about their vision and making sure government was held accountable, that their taxpayer money was aligned with their vision in the neighborhood plans of what they saw as a priority. We were changing the culture and also how government had run amok, basically. It was doing what it thought was the best interest of the community, but not asking the community what its priorities were. So with that experience, working with the housing department in reference to housing for our seniors, our working families, our homeless population that included the veterans, I got to establish those kinds of projects. And those were some of the things that they bringing up is housing an issue, jobs, bringing meaningful jobs that will not give them a job for the day or fast food, but provides them a career path. Access to an education that could be affordable. And also the other one was some of the kids were not on that track, but the other vision was also apprentice program, vocational.
Okay.
And my experience in those 32 years in the city of San Jose, 12 in Parks and Recreation, developing facilities, program services, and intervention gang programs to keep the kids from getting into trouble and having out evening programs and even for the families. But the other 22 was in the city manager's office. I worked in the city manager's office of neighborhood services. So we worked with all these departments. So that's how I was able to align and see what the departments were doing, also align their budgets according to these plans because that was the priority.
Okay.
And the new leadership that was elected saw that vision as well, that we needed to make sure residents were part of the process in defining their vision and their goals of their communities, and government to respond and apply that taxpayer money and fund those programs, because it was about healthy communities that were safe, prosperous for everyone, and that we would all move forward and have a new generation that would have newer opportunities that those that were here before didn't have as much. So it's a big circle that really benefits the tax base. It affords people now that they don't have to work on the other side of the hill.
There you go.
That was a key thing.
There you go.
That was very key. They wanted to be able to live here, work here, raise their children here, have their homes here, and retire. And that's what I've been hearing. And also public safety. Public safety was one of the main things. But public safety is not about having a police officer in every corner, because not even that method provides a safe community.
Correct.
It has to be a partnership with the residents, the interfaith community, the schools, working together, and government in addressing the challenges and developing strategies. And that's what I did on those with Project Crackdown, neighborhood revitalization strategies, programs with funding from the Justice Department. We didn't depend on our tax base. We looked at grants. We also had the partnerships with the school districts and all the nonprofit organizations. So we looked at what grants were available, and people would say, Patricia, how did you manage to get over $100,000 from the Department of Forestry for a park, for an area? I says, you need to know your representatives at the state level, know the committees, and that's how they leverage those resources into your local neighborhoods and areas. And we were able to do that because it was a partnership, not just state within city, local government, or county government. But again, you think outside the box, it was common sense, and I was very well known for thinking out of the box. For example, during the housing market crash, I said, this is an opportunity for us to buy some of these properties. You don't have to build them, just revamp them and provide affordable housing. I said, Patricia, that was a great idea, because the properties were being vandalized.
Sitting there vandalized,
abandoned, and we were able to do that. So to always look at a challenge as an opportunity, but also when you're looking at funding, don't look at the small box, but look at the big picture and look at what's out there and ask.
So what you're saying is, I guess a key phrase would be community collaboration.
Exactly.
We collaborate together to make the city better from the top down to the bottom, where everybody has a part. I'm looking at your thing, you're saying investing in public safety sustainability, developing a strategy to reduce crime, and then another point is economic growth and jobs. We know 70% of our community is commuter-based. That's why this show is important. Los Banos Today allows people to keep up with what's going on. We have people, like we're live right now, people are checking it out. We want them to, if they want to call in, if you have a real question for Ms. Ramos Anderson, my phone number is 831-333-6620. As I said, we're about giving good information about the good things happening in our community. That's what this platform was designed to do. You know, the news media doesn't come here from Fresno unless something bad is happening. You know, I mean, they come to good stuff, but people have got to call in. That's why we're opening this door. People that are running experienced leadership with results. We want to be able to make wise choices.
Yes.
You know, if you're the one, then, but people got to know who you are. So we're presenting this. We've had a couple of the other people running that have already been in, and we open the door for everybody. You know, not for the official endorsement, but for the official information.
Yes.
To help us know who you are. A lot of people know you, but we want more people to know you, know what you're about. You're talking about infrastructure and the things that are going on in this area. District 5, that's over here on the west side.
Yes.
And not saying we're not worried about the other sides, but this side is where we live.
This is our district.
This is our district, and water issues, and we've had the upper Congress people, and I reached out to the Canellas and the so-and-sos, and just met Travis Allen long time ago, running for governor, and you know, all the things that we read about in the news that are happening that do affect us.
Yes.
Here in the LB. I call it the Big Valley in Cali. But we're grateful for you taking the time to stop by and introduce yourself to us. Give us your website information and all of your, how do we reach you?
The way you can reach me, I even have a phone number.
There
I'm
you go.
easy.
They're easy.
You know,
Okay,
some
phone.
people don't have access to
Right.
computers or into websites, or
There you go.
especially our aging population.
There you go.
It's 209, very easy, 827-4116. That's one way of reaching me. You
That's
also
an
can look
easy
me
one.
up. I have a Facebook as well,
Yeah.
and that is right here. I have it right here.
Got
It's,
door knockers?
It's,
Look at,
it's Facebook at Ramos Anderson 2018.
wow. That's
very
real easy.
Very easy, simple. I don't make it complicated. Common sense. Simple is great.
That's one thing I learned from the guy that I call the blueprint for this whole thing. When I first learned about websites and all this stuff, he said, you keep it simple, few words, so that it's very easy to remember. And as I had my first one, it was a big long name. He said, you can't put all that in the URL. By the time you type that in, people forgot who you are. And so thank Dave for that. The stuff I've learned over the years being around this man. Patricia,
Yes.
so on the day you win, what's your first order of business?
First order of business is getting to know, is invite everyone to the table to have it's a gathering, a town hall, and I'm looking at doing it on different cities in our different areas, because they need to get to know me, and we need to connect and start talking about developing neighborhood plans. That's number one priority.
Okay.
Because if we don't develop strategies with the economic growth on one of my platforms, is that, and also developing the partnerships with the people that will be working with us, the residents need to be part of that process, and that's very key. We have public safety as well. You also have to get to meet, you're also the other partners on the county board of supervisor seats, having one-on-one meetings, having more of those discussions of what they're looking at as well, because it takes 3 votes to move change.
Correct.
That's the reality. And so there's always gonna be a middle ground, and sometimes we'll agree, and sometimes we won't agree. but you need to at least reach the middle ground. So that way it benefits one area, the next area, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, it's very important that the community be part of the process from day one, knowing that they're elected official, the government services, we're here to listen, but we're also gonna be held accountable.
Wow.
Straight.
Well, it's tight and it's right. You put it together right. As I said, you heard me say, I've had the pleasure of being here the last 16 years of my life of meeting. I know all the candidates. I respect all the candidates, and I have a great like, and love for what you are putting forth. These are things, as we get older. I've got grandchildren here. As a pastor, I've got members here, and they come to leadership looking for how do we change some things. Well, here's one of the people that you go change things with, and you've been proactive in everything I've seen, and you and your husband, and I'm honored to know you, and I appreciate you. We've had some wonderful times, some candid times. We were at the event Dr. Jones had, the community event, and I know you got a heart for the people here in the community. Like you say, your roots are in these three valleys, and you want to see people do better, and I guess you go in with the attitude of positivity, if that's a word. I mess up the English language so much. If, like I say, when you win, if you win, or if you don't win, then what happens? I know you didn't jump in this not to win.
No.
And not to give your best shot. But if that doesn't, it's not in the cards, then what do you do? What's next if that doesn't happen?
You don't have to be, you don't have to look at things as winning and losing.
Okay, there you go.
Look at things as progression,
Oh, yeah.
progress, and the ideas that you still have now, you're still moving forward. That's the difference between a leader with a vision, that you don't have to be a politician.
That's good.
And that's what people don't understand. For me, it's about the people. It's about also our area and environment, our communities, and to work with the policies that will bring these dreams to fruition. It's very important, because what happens is that people get focused, oh, well, I have to be an elected official. No, you don't. We've created so much change already in this valley. People have district elections now. People are now selecting and learning the process of voting, and are coming out and also helping on committees. As a lead for the community Measure V in the West Side, we were strong proponents, while others that were in the leadership elected positions weren't supporting it openly. So again, it's like that doesn't stop us. You don't have to be a politician. It's about people, and if we don't invest in the people, and if we don't invest in the programs, then we're going to end up investing a lot more money in prisons.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what people don't understand, is that one youth that's incarcerated, approximately $60,000. Those $60,000 could have been better spent by providing recreational programs for that summer free.
Yeah.
And these kids will not be getting into trouble or creating havoc amongst the communities.
Oh, that's smart.
And also, when you have the programs, you provide them opportunities of job experience. That's how I started. When I was 14, 15 years old, they had a program for disadvantaged youth to work, a federal program that gave money, minimum wage, to start teaching youth a work ethic. I started at the school as a teacher's aide, then as Parks and Recreation, worked there 2 years, and that's how you got involved, because you got to learn, they got to know you as well as a young person. So when you're looking at programming and you look at recreation, it's not just about recreation. I also have the experience that we had tied in a youth component of employment. So you look outside the box and you look at those as opportunities. And it's very, very key that we don't put politics in the way of progress, in the way of the people.
I learned this a long time ago. The politic word, I believe, I don't know if it's Hebrew, Greek, or whatever, but that word means the meaning of that word actually means good citizen.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, yeah.
And so we've turned it into a whole lot more than just being a good citizen.
Yes.
It's a way of life for some people, and you know, of course, I run up on those things, the moral issues versus political issues. I'm moral first,
Yes.
you know, and I'm not a politician. I don't claim to be, and have no aspirations of being one. Where I am is hard enough as it is. But being a good citizen, if you're a good citizen in your community, you should get involved. You should be at city council meeting. You should go to supervisor, board of supervisors. I attend meetings. You know, the guy that's leaving office, he started something, and he invited us in to have a word of prayer in the county supervisor chambers, and I hope that'll continue. Each supervisor got to pick spiritual leaders from their own community to come in, and so have a relationship with the sheriff, Sheriff Vern, and the other supervisors, and it's just really a good feeling to know you can be a model for change in your community, and I appreciate you, Patricia.
Thank you.
I appreciate you as a fellow. You're in Santa Nella, but Los Banos is where we are today, and I never know how to say that. Is it Los Banosan or Los Banian? How do you? I don't know how to. When they, I'm from. I'll figure that out. I'll do better on that tomorrow. But we're residents of the West Side,
Yes.
and the Santa Nella is part of the District 5, and Los Banos, Dos Palos, and these cities over here.
And it's very key that remember that District 5 is Dos Palos, an incorporated area of Dos Palos, Santa Nella, Los Banos, and part of edge of also Gustine and Volta. Right. And when we look at the next elected official representing our community, ourselves here in this county in District 5, is that you need to have that experience. That's going to be very vital. Is having that has worldly experience as well as, because remember, everything operates as a global economy.
True.
And you have to have that education and understanding and work in that field of government to understand how it all works together. And the other key thing is that you lead. You lead by example, but you lead with others. You lead with the community, and then you also lead within the departments. So that way we are working together. The right hand and the left hand know what they're doing. And that's what tends not to be happening. If we work in silos, then we're not going to be efficient. It'll be a waste of our taxpayer money. But if we work as a team, then we're able to work smarter with common sense and meet the goals of needs of the residents in District 5.
Wow.
And then the last thing, those are the results. But the most key part is that the community was part of the process and collaboration, and they were the stakeholders, so they knew what was going on. That was the biggest complaint I heard in Los Palos. I heard in Santa Nella. We heard in other areas. How is it that they come and say, okay, we're going to fix this? They never come back and it doesn't get fixed.
Right.
So there's no accountability and no follow-through, follow-up.
Right.
But if you get cited, that's a totally different thing with code enforcement. There's enforcement's there. So when we looked at investing in the strategies to address crime is about working in collaboration with interfaith community and nonprofits and with organizations, and developing a partnership with the community and law enforcement. That's what's very key. You have to have that dialogue, and you have to have, we don't want to become a Chicago. We do not want to become areas that they don't have a good working relationship.
Wow.
It's a partnership. It's a sense of community policing, but a culture within the whole police force, the departments, here we have our sheriff's department, and the cities or local police departments that they have here, and that's key. The other thing we're looking at is even job opportunities. Construction is one of the, and nationwide they found out that they're in need of more construction workers, and these are good paying jobs. So if we're going to be building the next school, it's great to see one of our students or a family member here from our district say, I helped build our local school.
Right.
I helped fix the roads in our neighborhood. Not the potholes, but the actual road.
Road itself, the
whole
road.
The whole road, because it's a waste of money when you, it's called slip-slurry seal. That it's cosmetic. It looks pretty, but in long term,
till the truck hits it.
That's right. The pavement goes under, it starts to break down.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that with the infrastructure is that we have to learn how to leverage resources and partnerships. You have a partnership, one example, a partnership where a university, a public library was built together. And that was a collaboration with also funding. We look at collaborations that in one area, one community that was a disadvantaged community that I worked in, we had one of the automobile industries, they had a grant to build playgrounds. But you also had to bring volunteers. We also brought people in those building trades that worked in that area. And by us all working together, that project became twice the size of what it originally was going to be.
Wow.
And in the unincorporated areas, when we're talking about infrastructure, we need to build their facilities for playgrounds, also for the issues of recreational facilities. A lot of the unincorporated areas generate many revenues. I'll give you an example. Santa Nella. In 2010, when I was asking what revenues it generate, TOT, they generate $3.5 million.
Wow.
Our little town of Santa Nella in 2010. So then I asked, how much of that revenue comes back? When I discovered though it's a 1% that's mandated, that goes to the water district, you're talking about it could vary from 68,000 to 72,000 approximately. It varies depending year to year.
Right.
The rest of it was going back to the county. So when it went back to the county, when Livingston challenged the county in reference to the revenue sharing, they had all this money that they had. It got shared, but it didn't come back to any of the unincorporated areas. Why? Because they were unincorporated. They didn't have an oversight committee that was established. And that's like telling the taxpayer, it's like telling Los Banos, all the money that you generate now is going to go back to the county. You're only going to get 10%.
I've heard that locally, you know, and like I say, we want an even flow, and so the person that gets this place is going to be a fighter for this side. I appreciate you coming in, Patricia.
Thank you.
And we're going to move forward. We thank you for your time, for your hard work that you do in the community. Once again, tell us how to reach you one more time.
Again, Facebook, it's Patricia Ramos 2018. I also have a phone number that is people can call me at. It's 209-827-4116. But keep in mind, I am the one candidate that has the most public government experience of 32 years. I educated myself, and even when I was elected as a water board member, I went back to Merced College to study a water program that they had. You continue to learn. And also, I have the results. I'm not going to make promises. I'm not going to say I'm going to improve government services and leave it as general. I'm telling you, this is my experience, this is my capacities, this is what I've done, this is what I bring to the table with my platform by listening to the residents, the taxpayers of this district, and this is giving you examples of how we're going to do it, but it's going to be a partnership, all of us working together. And with that, I am the best qualified candidate, committed with leadership, and I came back. Many of our young people leave and don't come back.
Right.
I came back and retired.
There we go.
And I'm going to continue to work for the community.
Los Banos today. I'm Bruce Rivers as Patricia Ramos Anderson. Patricia, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
And as time comes in, you're welcome to come back and let us know anything you're doing, any kind of fundraisers, any kind of meet and greets. Let us know. If you can't get in, at least go to our events calendar on the page and type it in. So we got a lot of people listening, a lot of people watching, a lot of people trying to hear what's going on. So thank you for coming by.
And
we
thank
appreciate you.
And I want to thank the public, our residents, the supporters. You know, I am there for you. I am there to be the voice of reason with common sense, but gets the job done. That's who I am as Patricia Ramos Anderson, an advocate for our communities, but more importantly, I will get the job done because we're doing it together. Thank you again.
Collaboration is the key. I'm Bruce Rivers, Los Banos Today. Thank you.
Thank you.